now we are going to find the area of a sector of a circle. So the ratio of the area of a sector of a circle to the whole circle is equal to the ratio of the measure of the intercepted arc to 360. So what that means is that the area of the sector, so I'll call it the sector area, is to the area of a circle as the number of degrees, the measure of the arc, is to 360, the measure of the whole circle. Now the area of a circle is pi r squared, so I can replace that. So the sector area is to pi r squared as the number of degrees is to 360. Okay, so this circle here is split into two sectors, a red sector and a blue sector, and we're going to find each area. Okay, so let's start with the red sector. Okay, so the area of that sector, so we'll just say the red area, is to the area of the entire circle, which is pi times the radius, 8 squared, as the number of degrees of this sector, which is 70 degrees, is to 360. Okay, now red is my variable, and when a variable is on top, I can just take what's on bottom and multiply it diagonally across. So the red area is equal to 70 times pi 8 squared over 360. And I can use fractions on my calculator to simplify that, and I'm going to leave my answer exact. So I'm not even going to put pi in the calculator. So I'll start a fraction, and on top I've got 70 times 8 squared, and on bottom I have 360. And that simplifies to 112 over 9. So my area is 112 pi over 9, and I don't have feet or inches or anything, so I'll just say units squared. Okay, then we'll do the blue area. So the blue area is 2 pi times the radius squared as the number of degrees, which is all this out here, which is whatever's left in the circle after that 70. So 360 minus 70, that's 290 degrees. So as 290 is to 360. Okay, so I'll multiply this across, and I get that the blue area is 290 times pi 8 squared over 360. So 290, and I'll make that a fraction, 290 times 8 squared over 360 is 464 over 9, so my answer is 464 pi over 9 units squared. Okay, so now we're going to find the area of circle D. So the area of the circle is pi times the radius squared. So that's pi 14 squared. Pi times 14 squared. Now 14 squared is 196. So my area is 196 pi feet squared. Okay, next is the area of the red sector. Okay, so it's the red area over the area of the entire circle, which is pi 14 squared, equals the number of degrees in the red sector, which is 120, over 360. So I'm going to multiply this across. So that means in my fraction, the numerator is going to be 120 times 14 squared, and the denominator will be 360. And that gives me 196 over 3. So that's 196 pi over 3 feet squared. Okay, then is the area of the blue sector. So that blue area is to the area of the circle, pi 14 squared, as, now I need that number of degrees. So I'll do 360 minus 120. I get 240 degrees. So as 240 is to 360. And I'll multiply this across. So my fraction is 240 times 14 squared over 360. And I get 392 over 3. So the area is 392 pi over 3 feet squared. Okay, now these fractions are all improper fractions, and I like improper fractions, but if you would rather see them as mixed numbers, so if I have 112 over 9, I can use this button right here that has an improper fraction changed to a mixed number. So second, and then it will change it to 12 and 4/9 pi. Okay, I can do that with 464 over 9 also. So 464 over 9. And I can use that button right there, second, and then improper fraction to a mixed number. And it would be 51 and 5/9. So I would have 51 and 5/9 pi. Now these two areas right here, the red and the blue sector, should add up to 196 pi. So if I do 196 over 3 and add 392 over 3, I get 196. So I've got 196 pi as my total area when I add the red and the blue sector together. Okay, now we are going to use our sector formula to find the area of a circle. And we have to use the sector formula because I don't know the radius, but I do know the area of this red sector. So the area of the sector, which is 35, is to the area of the whole circle, as the number of degrees is to 360. Okay, so I'll do my cross products here. I've got 40 times the area of the circle, and then 35 times 360, which is 12,600. And I can divide by 40 to get the area by itself. So I get the area of the circle, and then 12,600 divided by 40 is 315. So the area of the entire circle is 315 meters squared. Okay, so we have a rectangular wall here cut with an entrance cut into it. We want to paint the wall, so that's this green part here. To the nearest square foot, what is the area of the region you need to paint? So what we need to do is take this entire wall and subtract what's cut out. So the wall is a rectangle. To find the area of a rectangle, we do length times width, which in this case is 36 times, and then 10 plus 16 is 26. 36 times 26 is the area of that wall. 936 feet squared is the area of that entire wall. But we're not painting this cutout, so we need to subtract the cutout. Now the cutout has this shape right here, which is a square. It's 16 by 16. So we have to subtract the area of the square, and the area of a square is side squared. Okay, so 16 squared is 256. So we are subtracting 256. We also have to subtract this semicircle. So we've got a half circle here. So we're going to subtract that semicircle, and the area of a semicircle is just half the area of a circle. So half times pi r squared. Pi times, and then the radius of this circle is 8. It's half of that diameter, so pi 8 squared. Okay, so I want to use the pi button here. I want an approximate answer because I'm dealing with a real life object and I don't have any pi's in here. So these are approximate numbers. So I'll do half times pi times 8 squared. and that's 100.53. Okay, so I need to do the rectangle minus the square and the semicircle. So I have 936 minus 256 minus 100.53. And that is 579.47 feet squared. Okay, so to the nearest foot, 579 square feet. Okay, next, find the area of this circle. So we have the area of the sector. Use that to find the area of the circle. So the area of the sector, 214.37, is to the area of the circle. As the number of degrees of the sector, 85 degrees, is to 360. So we'll do our cross products. 85 times the area is equal to 214.37 times 360. And that is 77,173.2. And we will divide that by 85. 907.92 is the area of the circle. And that is in centimeters squared. So next we're going to find the area of this figure here with a semicircle and a triangle put together. So we'll find each individual area and then we will add those together. So first let's do this semicircle. So we have a semicircle whose area is half the area of a circle. So it's half of pi times the radius squared. Okay, so now I have a diameter here of 7, which means the radius is 3.5. So it's pi times 3.5 squared. Okay, so what is half of 3.5 squared? So 0.5 times 3.5 squared is 6.125. So the area of this semicircle as an exact answer is 6.125 pi meters squared. Then we have a triangle. The area of a triangle is half base times height. Base and height have to be perpendicular to each other, so the base and height are both 7. So the area of the triangle is half times 7 times 7. And that is 24.5 meters squared. So my exact answer would be 6.125 pi plus 24.5 meters squared. Okay, so there's my answer as an exact answer. Okay, then my approximate answer I can find by actually typing that in the calculator, 6.125 pi plus 24.5, and that is 43.74. So my approximate answer is 43.74 meters squared. Okay, last, the area of a sector is 30 and the radius is 8. Find the measure of the intercepted arc. So that looks something like this. The area is 30 units squared. The radius is 8 units. Find the number of degrees. Okay, so the area of the sector is to the area of the circle as the number of degrees of the sector is to 360. Okay, so I have a variable on top, so I can just take what's on bottom here and multiply it across. Okay, so I get 30 times 360 over pi 8 squared. And that will give me my arc measure. Okay, so when a pi is in the denominator, that's an irrational number in the denominator. We do not leave irrational numbers in the denominator, so I will put that in the calculator. So I've got 30 times 360 in the numerator, and the denominator is pi times 8 squared. And I have 53.71. So I get x is 53.71, so the measure of that arc is 53.71 degrees.